Voltron Network.
What's good, guys? Welcome back to Talking at the Movies. Oh, man, what's good? I'm Eddie Santonio.
And I'm Mo. Did you just forget your name there or something?
Nah, some of my voice is giving up. It's just giving up on me, man. Everything's falling apart. How you been, man?
I've been fine. It's been a glorious weekend of just watching movies.
And the big one's coming this week.
Oh, the big one is coming.
Possibly the most anticipated superhero film ever.
It's probably like we could just like that was the last episode of the podcast ever. Everything
Done
that you would ever want to say about anything will get done. I was just thinking the other day, actually, it's a 4-hour film, right? So surely you have to have like a discussion that's a certain percentage long, like to cover a 4-hour film.
Oh, it depends how deep you want to get. But the thing is, if it's pretty much the similar paced in terms of the story beats, no, there's gonna be. If our source gave us our world exclusive, guys, forget all these new reviews that are coming out. We had it a month ago.
Yeah. Well, I have actually put a little thing in the news that says that you talked about the first review, so we can either talk about it now or we could do it in the order of the sheet.
We'll do it in the order. But I'm presuming they're not going to tell us anything that we haven't already spoke about exclusively.
Yeah. I think it's more around people's actual reactions as to whether they like it or not.
Yes. All right. So let's get started. What you been watching, sir?
Right. So apart from the films that we're supposed to watch together, which this week are Cherry, Boss Level,
yep,
and Iron Man 3.
I forgot about it. You know what? I was actually going to say, no, we could speak about it because I've watched it so many times. But the thing is, because we did the DC thing last week, which we probably should have done this week, to be honest, or the week before. And now we've got Justice League this week. I was thinking just to leave it until after Justice League and then we get back to the Marvel rather than 1 week in and then off and then.
That's a very long way of saying I forgot to watch it.
I can talk about it. Like, I know it enough, but I figured that way. But anyway, we can do that.
Right. So, in between all of that, I watched a classic kung fu movie, Jackie Chan, Shaolin Wooden Men. I bet that's one you haven't seen.
I haven't.
Yeah, it's very different. Jackie Chan actually plays a mute. So like for the whole film, he doesn't talk. Like basically, he sees his father die as a child, and then he joins a Shaolin school to basically train and become like, like an Iron Fist type, whatever.
Let me guess. To take vengeance on the person he kills.
Yes. Yeah.
Love it.
So he basically plays like someone who everyone else treats as an idiot. So while he's training, and they do brutal training, right? And it's not even like teaching you how to fight. It's like filling up like buckets of water.
Yeah.
And you've got to like carry them like upstairs just to like spill them at the other end for like no apparent reason. I just do that like all day long.
So the classic Shaolin training then in every old school kung fu period film. And basically what they really did when they were in those Peking opera schools, that they were really training like that.
Yeah. So the thing in this is he finds somehow a prisoner at the Shaolin school, a guy who's like all like handcuffed up, and because he's kind to him, this guy trains Jackie Chan how to fight.
Well, how good a fighter is he if he's freaking held prisoner?
Well, it all depends. Do you know what I mean? You don't know how he became a prisoner or why he's a prisoner. But there is a plot twist here, obviously, which I won't spoil, even though it's like a 40-year-old film.
I think I figured it out. I think I just figured it out.
What have you just figured out? What do you think it is?
That it turns out that he was the guy that killed his dad. Yeah.
That is it's the actual plot is more of a plot than most of like these like films. A lot of them are just like really thin plot lines hinged together with like loads of fight scenes. This one's actually got a pretty decent plot.
So how can he bring himself to fight? Is there like a whole troubled, you are my master, I respected you so much, or is it like
there is a little bit of that. There is a little bit of that, but not too much. Obviously he can't talk anyway. But the one thing I really find quite amusing about a lot of these old 70s kung fu films is you know how when you're checking the runtime of a movie and you think, oh, there's 10 minutes left, and there's always like at least 6 minutes worth of credits.
Yeah.
These films, man, they go down to the last 30 seconds, and then that last splash screen is just the end.
It is so bizarre, isn't it? You just think it just suddenly like someone just kicks in their head, or they're walking and they trip, and then as they're falling, there's freeze frames and
the end.
Sure, brothers. Wow,
yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm actually enjoying a lot of these old 70s kung fu flicks. I've got quite a few more to get through. I've got the Young Master and Spiritual Kung Fu sitting on my shelf.
Spiritual, I've got that one, and Young Master. I love those two. Yeah, I do miss it. Like, there's a ton of them on Prime and on Netflix. I might actually start digging in and start watching some.
Yes, I will be planning to go through some of those. Superman and Lois, episode 3. Man, they brought the heat in this episode. Are you going to watch this, Eddie?
I don't want to.
You don't want to? Why, you don't want to watch a show that's good?
Because I know it won't be good at the end. So it just, I don't want to invest in something that's going to turn out to be crap.
When it stops being good, you can stop watching it. But right now, 3 episodes, and 3 episodes have been pretty damn cool.
Yeah, okay. All right.
It's I don't want to spoil it now by telling you like intricate bits, but there hasn't been any of the melodrama yet. So it's still
really,
you know,
the sons.
The kids are no, they're not bordering on annoying yet.
Oh, Dad, how could I have superpowers? I don't want them.
Everyone wants superpowers. I think that's the problem. It's not that they haven't got them; he wants them, right? So if you haven't watched the episodes by next week, I'm going to spoil the fuck out of it for you.
Right.
But I've got to say, 3 episodes in, I am loving it. I am enjoying it. It's even gone from like Saturday morning breakfast TV to like I must watch it like during the week in the evening now type thing, if I have time. Right, one I watched last night that I've been putting off for a while. Resident Alien. You remember we watched the trailer for this? So this is Alan Tudyk, who played Walsh on Firefly.
Did we watch the trailer for this? I keep seeing this thumbnail for this.
We watched the trailer for this.
I keep seeing like, oh, I like that guy. Maybe I should check this out. But I don't ever remember.
We did. It was quite a while ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it was many months. And plus, it's already 7 episodes in. So we probably watched it like 4 months ago or something. I've got to say, Alan Tudyk, he's an incredible actor because he actually fucking like it actually feels like you're watching an alien because he makes these like funny faces, the way he walks, the way he carries himself. You kind of feel like this guy is just not right. And there is a scene where he's got to climb through a window, and he's I don't know whether they use CGI or he's just really good, but he looked almost like he was on some sort of insectoid, like climbing. Yeah, the way he just moved his body, it was just amazing. And you kind of think, these are the little touches that he really brings to the character that makes the show enjoyable to watch.
So is it a drama or is it a comedy? I thought it was a comedy.
It's a drama with like comedic elements in it, right? So it's a standard, it's a sci-fi show, it's 45 minutes. It very much has the look of a network TV show, right? It's the very last. I watched 1 episode last night. It's the very last thing that happens that like really grabbed my attention. And I don't know whether I should tell you because it is a bit of a spoiler. But it does happen in episode 1. So it's
tell me then.
That much. So essentially, he crash lands on. He was never supposed to land on Earth. He was supposed to deliver a device and then carry on back home. Right. That was completing his mission. Unfortunately, he crash landed on Earth. His ship is now buried under snow. So he's trying to find his ship. And essentially, he goes at the end of the episode. He reveals that his actual mission was to deliver a device that will basically set up a extinction level event. He's there to basically kill all life. But now he's like living there and he's amongst these humans, so he's starting to like associate with them.
Sounds like the plot for besides the extinction level event at the end. It sounds like a Bowie Starman. You ever see that film back in the day? David Bowie.
I do remember seeing it as a child. I couldn't tell you anything about it.
Yeah, maybe it just ripped it off and didn't get the rights. So you're saying it's worth having a look?
It's worth checking out the first episode to see whether you like that type of humor. I'm like that, thinking actually once we finish this and I get my dinner out, I might watch episode 2. Yep. You were about to say something?
No, go on.
No, and one final thing. I've been looking for like a new sitcom to watch, so I watched a couple of episodes of like Arrested Development. Really got back into that. But one that caught my eye, I watched one episode last year.
Did you ever watch the last season of that? The one where
I
they
have
brought
not.
it back? Same
I
here.
have not. So I thought if I start from the beginning, I'll watch it all the way through. But something caught my eye the other night while I was like going to watch episode 3. Do you remember PD Paradise?
The animated show.
Yeah, the animated show. I remember watching one episode of that and then didn't quite go back to it. And I thought, you know what? Lying in bed, let's try something different. Put on episode 2. I really got into it. I found it really funny. And I thought, oh, actually, I can find myself watching all of these quite easily.
So is that still going? Or did they cancel?
Yeah. I think like part 3's just come out like very recently because I noticed in my email promotions tab there was like saying there is like part 3 of this show is now out.
Okay, I need something for background.
Wow. Yeah, it's a good background show. It does do like it really goes out there with like some of the stuff that they gross you out about. Yeah, they don't. They're not afraid to hold punches.
Good, I like that. Grown up comedy.
Anything else? No. What else have you been watching then, Eddie?
What's a little bit of stuff, but it's been hard this week, dude. Like I get into these moods. You know how I sometimes get in my serial killer moods. Well, now...
whoa! You know what's going on in this
documentaries.
country? You know what's going on right now, don't you?
Oh my God! That is fascinating to watch. Like, we won't even get into it because it is too miserable to really get into. But I'm talking about serial killer documentaries. Obviously, I'm not in a mood to just go out and start killing people. But I'm in that mood, but with music. Well, I just want to listen to music. I just can't. I have to force myself to sit and watch stuff because I just want to chill and listen to whatever I'm in the mood for.
When you do like your chores and stuff, you can listen to music. And when you sit down, you can watch stuff.
Nah, I have to put the headphones in and I'm just like, it's like VR for me. I'm just in it. I'm living it. And one minute it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I look back, I look again, it's like 2 in the morning. It's like, oh my God, that's what music does to me. It's like time travel.
Are you also injecting yourself stuff with like substances?
Rock and roll lifestyle. But the few things I did manage to squeeze in, there's Raya and the Last Dragon, the new Disney movie. Dude, they are really like stepping up this animation. Like this may be one of the best looking movies they've made.
Oh, really?
It's an interesting world. Reminds me a lot of the Avatar world, Airbender Avatar. But it doesn't have the magic for me of like the classic Pixar films. But it is if you're in the mood to watch something animated, that's fine and easy to watch. And
is this a Pixar film then, or is this a different studio within Disney?
Just Disney, I believe.
Disney.
I believe it's Disney. But it's definitely Disney, but I don't think it's Pixar. Yeah, so that's thumbs up. 3 stars. It's kind of middle of the road. I won't get too deep into it. Everyone's dissing on or shitting on Awkwafina being the voice of the Last Dragon in this, but I actually think she's pretty damn good. Pretty good. But and Alan Tudyk's in it as well, actually.
Oh, right.
So a little association there.
Yeah, he does a lot of voiceover work.
Yeah, the only white guy in the all Asian cast. So I don't know how he managed to squeeze that one. And then I checked out another show that we checked out the trailer for not that long ago, but it aired in the States, I think in November.
Okay.
September,
what is it?
October. Called Next with John Slattery.
Yes. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is that artificial intelligence?
Yeah, the AI. Chilling because this kind of plays out the way that it's gonna happen. Like this, it's bad enough expecting it to happen, but then to make TV shows about it happening, we're not gonna learn. We're not gonna learn.
But that's what always happens, right? TV always predicts what's gonna happen.
No, this is terrifying. Chilling. But
did you watch the whole thing or just one episode?
They've only been dropping them because I've noticed it on Disney Plus. So I was kind of flicking through and noticed it, and they're just doing it episodes. We only got one episode now.
If you like that, you should check out Devs. I'm telling you, man, check out Devs. It's got Nick Offerman plays the lead in that. We all like him from his time as Ron Swanson, but he plays a completely different role. And if you like the next type of thing, this is like, I think this was a Hulu show, so it's like a next level up production-wise.
Yeah, I could just go online and watch these, but I'm just going to let them kind of play on Disney.
Well, I think Devs was actually on the iPlayer. I don't know if it's still there.
But John Slattery's good. He basically is like a Steve Jobs type personality type, that sort of slightly autistic in the way they interact with people. You know, where they're just a dick, but they don't really realize they're a dick.
Yeah.
and he created this super sophisticated AI. But then once he realized that it was thinking for itself too much, that it could get to the point where it could start evolving itself, he shut it down and got kicked out of his company, kind of like a Steve Jobs situation. But in his absence, his brother, who also he was partnered with, re-engaged the initiative, and it's gotten out. It's gotten off of the service, and it's in the world, and it's basically just killing people that are trying to, people that's dropping dead through, doing shit like.
And for any particular reason that they're being targeted, or?
Well, people who could interfere with it evolving. Remember, that's what AI wants to do. Once it can evolve itself and then it evolves itself again, and just keeps getting smarter and smarter. Anyone that's potentially sees what it's doing and wants to shut it down, it has to eliminate.
So it's a Skynet, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly that. And you do realize that if something like that does happen, there is nothing you could do to get away from it, unless you live in a cottage in the middle of nowhere with no electricity. You're just living off like wood and coal and all of that. You're
how will I stream my Netflix?
Exactly. Once it knows where you are, it gets your location. It can fuck with your electronics in your car, traffic lights, everything. You're just done. You're dead. It's great. So yeah, not too bad so far. But it's been cancelled, so I'm not the bitch whether I'm gonna get too deep into it.
Yeah, but has it been cancelled, or is it just like a limited series?
Cancelled.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But yeah, apart from that, nothing else.
Right. So what do you want to do first then? Cherry or boss level?
Start with boss level.
Boss level.
What's the cost of this? You want to read out a synopsis?
Why did you pick this one to start with? Did you not like this or something?
Are you going to tell me you love this? This is your movie of the week?
I wouldn't say I loved it, but
this was.
Hold on. Did you not have fun with the film?
I was bored. By halfway, I was like,
"Oh, come on, dude!" Right. So this is a retired special forces officer is trapped in a never-ending time loop on the day of his death.
Frank Grillo is the lead actor in this.
Yep. Mel Gibson.
A guy who I like, but I'm starting to realize he's very one-note in everything I watch him in.
This is the one. So if there was any criticism I had of this film, I do think they went for a guy who looked like a special forces person, as opposed to somebody who could probably have carried this role better.
Yeah, he's too. And I'm realizing that I always used to enjoy him, but now I'm realizing that when I look back at all these other roles, when he was in what was the one where everyone, The Purge 2, I think it was 2 that he was in, and even the Captain America movie he was in, you kind of realize he's just the same. He's just this miserable, stone-faced guy. He's good in small doses, but as a lead of a movie, yeah, it leaves me a bit disengaged. And it's crazy, the cast that this film has. Mel Gibson, Naomi Watts, thinking Will Sasso, Ken Jeong. I'm like, and they're
Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah, and they're in this cheap-ass movie with effects that look like. Do you ever remember when the effects came on the phone where you could have an explosion? That's what they look like.
Oh no, it didn't look that bad.
Yes, they do. You could literally see smoke just disappear. The fact it's like.
So the one thing I'll say about Naomi Watts, I think either there is something wrong with her IMDb profile, or she literally has like the secret of youth. Do you know how old she is?
She's probably late 40s, man.
She is like, she's going to be 51 this year. She does not look anywhere near that.
Very good. But yeah, for a movie that basically has that Groundhog Day scenario, where he's living his day over and over again because they didn't really explain fully how that mechanic works, just her putting little DNA samples in a machine. And,
well, you can't, right? There's no real scientific explanation you can give, right? No matter what you come up with.
But yeah, but
in most films, they never explain that.
Possibly. But yeah, somehow, even with all the action in it and the premise, it just got so boring. It got just so... the assassins were terrible. There were no.
Come on!
I didn't find them interesting at all.
Name? No. The one assassin was brilliant. What's her name? Gayin. I did this.
That got so annoying. After like the third time, I'm like, all right, fine. I don't need to hear it anymore.
No,
I am Gayin.
But that's a video game, right? You hear the same thing over and over again, mocking you.
Yeah, a 90s video game, not nowadays. Jeez. But yeah, man. No.
I don't know, man. I've got to be the exact opposite of you. I wouldn't say I thoroughly enjoyed this. I wouldn't say this is a 4-star film. but it was a good Saturday night, just entertaining flick that didn't outstay its welcome. It's quite a short film. It's like an hour, like 1 hour 40 minutes or something.
Maybe with a more interesting lead.
Yeah. Yeah, I would
maybe
definitely
a
agree
Ryan
with that.
Reynolds. Maybe a Ryan Reynolds would have made this way more interesting.
Absolutely. I think that's what would have elevated this film to the next level. I do think that
To the
Frank
boss
Grillo,
level.
to the boss level.
Yeah.
But Mel Gibson, like he brought like a menacing bit to his role. I love the bit where he sits down with Naomi Watts and he tells her this ridiculously stupid story about the snake, and how it was basically ate a pig.
Yeah.
Defending its children. Yeah.
Okay, so what'd you give it?
Oh, I'd give it a 3-star.
Give it 2.5.
Oh, I think you're being very harsh on it.
For attempting to be a movie.
Very, very harsh.
Nah, don't forget, Mel Gibson's a piece of shit and he's in this, so never forget.
He is. I really don't know how to feel about that. I'll be honest. I feel very conflated because on the one hand, I do enjoy Mel Gibson. He has been in some great films, right? Lethal Weapon, Braveheart, The Patriot, Mad Max. And on the other hand, he is a piece. Which is the one where his kid gets kidnapped. That was also a good one. Yeah. Ransom.
Ransom. Yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, 2.5. Right. So a way better film in my opinion. A beautiful film in my opinion.
The
Russo brothers showing that they can direct award level movies, in my opinion.
It is a very, very pretty looking film as well. And it is the direction of this is something that really stands out, from the camera angles, the sweeping angles, just the change in aspect ratio. I thought at one point my fucking TV was broken.
You gotta break it down.
So Cherry drifts from college dropout to army medic in Iraq, anchored only by his true love, Emily. But after returning from war with PTSD, his life spirals into drugs and crime as he struggles to find his place in the world.
Dude, Tom Holland acted the shit out of this.
So he's young, right? How old is he? Let's see. He was born in... Yeah. It's amazing to think that this guy... I first noticed him, obviously, as most of the world did, in like the Spider-Man films, right? That's where he became prominent.
Billy Elliot.
And I've never seen Billy Elliot. Not my kind of film, right? But he's born in 96, right? So the dude's like barely like mid-20s.
Maybe he wasn't Billy Elliot. Go on.
He goes from these like basically these popcorn comic book movies, where he puts in like a real nice cheery performance, but then he does like things like The Devil All the Time or whatever it's called, and this
he was in the Billy Elliot stage show, not even in the stage show.
And he can literally just flip a switch, and he can just do like the acting prowess of like whatever he needs to do. He is like a superb actor.
Yeah, he's really good in this. And shout out as well to Sierra Bravo from Wayne.
Wayne, yes. The minute she opened her mouth, I was like, "That's the chick from Wayne."
Yeah. Again, like they cast these very well, because both of these two are like in their 20s, but they look like they're 15. So you're actually able to pass that period of time from being in college up until when they're older.
I thoroughly expect to start seeing her in more films after this as well. Yeah. She was very good in this.
Heartbreaking as well, man. Like as they descend, like he comes back from the war with PTSD, and as happens with people that have to deal with that, they begin to medicate themselves. Some go to alcohol, others go to drugs to take away that pain or the madness in their head, and he basically just pulls her down with him.
It's you see this all the time as a plot point in other shows, right, where someone's homeless or they've been their relationships like just finished because obviously the amount of stress that they bring to that, no one really wants to deal with this, or no one knows how to deal with this kind of thing. And the way Holland portrays like his character, he actually nails what I think in my head like a junkie really would act like and would behave like, right? You look at him and you think this guy is an absolute and total junkie. The only part of the film that really falls apart is the amount of banks that he's able to fucking rob.
Yeah, with no mask, just open his and half the time no gloves either. Yeah. So you think just from the fingerprints in his military records, boom, they got him.
Or the fact that he walks into a bank with a note that says "I have a gun." Surely, if you hand over all that money without making any noise or anything, your boss is gonna be like, "I don't fucking believe you."
Well, they got cameras. They'll see it from
They have got cameras,
distance.
but that's gonna be like such a. Did you see the gun? Did he point the gun at you? Did he threaten you at any point?
Yeah, but they're not working retail is not the same as working in a bank, but
Yeah.
in the cases of scenarios where when I used to work in retail,
Yeah.
if we were to get robbed, they just tell you don't do anything. You can't
Oh
legally
yeah,
just let it
absolutely.
happen.
But the fact that nobody else was around to see what, like, the bank is full of people, but he just walks up to a teller. It's almost like he's handing them a slip and say, "Yeah, give me like $200 or whatever."
The
Like,
thing is, people do rob banks even to this day. It's
oh,
crazy.
they do. But like, I think not well. Maybe because I don't know a lot about bank robbery, so you always just seem they're very. You'd think, imagine if you go into a bank, you make a lot of noise to rob a bank, right? You're not going to
Yeah,
do it quietly, type of thing. Maybe people do. I don't know.
yeah. And these banks are also these banks are strange as well because I'm used to banks over here where everything has this shield between you and the teller.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know whether London banks get robbed so often that they have to protect them, but in
I
these
guess
ones you
this
just
is like
walk straight up
out
to
in
the
the
teller.
sticks.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's just everyone that just falls down.
Yeah.
Even the drug dealer that sells him drugs just gets dragged down. No one.
Oh yeah, that was the most bizarre thing of all, right? Because I started thinking, hold on a minute, this guy's got this real big house. He's got a 7 Series BMW, and he's making money. Like, you don't get into drug dealing to lose money, right? Why the fuck is he partaking in like the robberies?
I presume it's to deal with the guy that supplies him. That his fear of that guy
Yeah.
is so dramatic and drastic that he was willing to go to extra lengths to deal with this after losing that all of what was in that safe.
Yeah, that also just seemed like a really bad idea on his part, right? Basically, a junkie
Yeah,
who's got
let a
no money.
junkie pick up a safe for you. That's just the dumbest thing ever. But yeah,
Yeah,
this is a cool film, man. Beautiful film.
it's very good.
Even just the
Um,
period of time that you just see him in the military and just
hmm.
dealing with what he went through over there. Even that was like very visceral.
Well, while I was watching it, what it did capture is there's two very good things, right? It basically just shows you, like how military service is like glorified. This
Yeah,
just basically like really paints it as in like
strips
they
that
just
away.
shit all over you, right? Basically, you're there as a tool, and once they're done with you, they're not going to do anything for you, right?
Yeah,
And that's the main
that
takeaway from
you're a
this.
tool basically. Yeah, you're just the
Yeah.
knife in the Swiss Army.
But it's not like how we don't do it so much here, but definitely it's very much a part of American culture to like worship like your
Patriotism.
veterans and your patriotism, right? No questions asked whatsoever. And I
Which
think it's
is
really sad because when you have like the vets come back, a lot of them do fall into
yeah,
drugs and
yeah,
homelessness.
because yeah, they just left. All right,
Yeah,
back home, just go about your life, deal with
yeah.
it. Yeah, it's crazy. But it's a great film, man. I love this. I
Yeah,
love this.
it is getting marked down in various places because it is so dark and depressing.
Really?
Yeah, like if you go and read some of the reviews on IMDb, I was posting on another forum where I said I really enjoyed it, and some folks were like, I just had to switch it off. It was just too dark, too depressing. Didn't enjoy it.
It is heartbreaking when once you see like what I don't want to give I won't get into it too much
Yeah,
away with the girlfriend, but just seeing how you get to a point where you can't even when someone doesn't want to help themselves
yeah.
and like he got them in this situation. It's just hard. It's so sad. Like when the parents confront him
Oh yeah, the
in the
hospital.
hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, when the mother like just gives him an ultimatum.
Yeah. It's just crazy. But I admit when I sat down to
Yeah.
watch it at first, I was thinking, oh, do I want to watch this? I'm got a feeling it's gonna be miserable. But 10 minutes in, off to the races.
I guess this is now outside of Oscar season, right? So this would be
It's
this would be an award movie, right?
yeah. It's a weird time to drop this considering. Like, why drop this in the point where it's gonna be forgotten about by the time next year comes along, unless they're hoping
Yeah.
some sort of word of mouth will pick it up somehow.
Yeah, it is very, very odd. This could have easily have come out sort of like a month or two ago and been included.
Mm.
And unless they weren't confident in it, right? Because essentially you've got, if you look at the Russos, again, I was watching it, Arrested Development the other day, and their name pops up as like the writers and directors, and you kind of
But
like,
they've proved themselves though. They
yeah,
once
no,
had the biggest box office film in cinema
yeah, but
history.
it was a comic book movie.
But then they did all these other. Well, actually,
Yeah.
they didn't direct the other films, did they? They just produced 21
Haven't
Bridges.
actually watched any of
12
the other
Bridges.
ones.
You watched Extraction? That was one of their projects.
Oh yeah. Well, there you go again. Extraction, not exactly something that the Academy would embrace.
Yeah, but they should. Action category needs to happen one day. Yes. What do you give this?
I'd give this a rock solid 4. Everyone should see this. It's grim, but it basically highlights the harsh reality of like military service, regardless of whether you're an American or not. Right? The story is the same world over.
More so, just drug abuse. Why the hell heroin? Why does anyone to this day get into heroin? When does it ever end in a happy ending?
In this particular case, it was literally he was trying to like basically deal with the problem that he was having. Right? Yeah.
True.
Why a normal person would, that's a whole other thing. Do other drugs, man. Other drugs that aren't as addictive.
4.5 stars for me. 46.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Nice.
Cherry 2021. Go check it out, guys. Good film. Bill Skarsgård was in this. What the hell did he do? I don't remember seeing him. The It Clown.
The It Clown.
Yeah, the guy that plays the clown. He's in everything. He's his brothers, the Skarsgård brothers that are everywhere. But anyway.
Right.
So, trailers.
Right. So only a couple today. So I want to kick off with the first one called Lucky. I'll put this on here because this is the sort of film I thought you would like, Eddie. It's actually already out. But it looks really interesting. It's got a very low IMDb score though. It's got a 5.3.
Yeah, well, you never know. It looks like it could go either way.
Yeah, it's an indie film, so I expect. I mean, only 658 votes, so very few people have seen it.
It's a Shudder original, so if you know the Shudder app, horror films, they must be doing really well because they do make quite a few of their own exclusive movies. But pretty good.
Yeah. So the synopsis for this one is: a suburban woman fights to be believed as she finds herself stalked by a threatening figure who returns to her house night after night. When she can't get help from those around her, she's forced to take matters into her own hands. And watching the trailer is so bizarre, right? Because like she basically tells her husband or her boyfriend or whoever it is that a man came into their house last night, and he just sits there so calmly and he says, "Yeah, he comes into our house every night."
Yeah, it's like it's not quite a Groundhog Day because she's not reliving the same day. It's just the same thing keeps happening every night consecutively. And everyone knows about it, but they can't seem to stop this guy coming in, which is mad.
So you do wonder if it's like a psychological movie, as in maybe that guy isn't real. There is something in her psyche that's like making this happen. Possibly.
Could be.
Yeah, but it looks very interesting.
It does. Interesting premise. May give it a look.
Check out the trailer.
The next one, I'm really into.
Unholy, starring Jeffrey Dean Morgan and produced by Sam Raimi.
Winchester dad and Bruce Wayne's dad. It's everyone's dad.
I hadn't even thought about that. Like when you had said it, I was just like, oh yeah, I completely forgot that he'd been in that film.
Basically, if you're a fan of Supernatural, this film looks like whatever the dad's doing when he's not around. When the Winchesters are looking for their dad, this is basically what he's doing when he's off away doing whatever the hell he's doing. This is what it kind of looks like. But I'm into it.
This is really bizarre, actually. On IMDb, he's actually got a different title. It's called Shrine. So I don't know whether in international territories they're calling it something else. But basically, a hearing-impaired girl is visited by the Virgin Mary and can suddenly hear, speak, and heal the sick. As people flock to witness her miracles, terrifying events unfold. Are they the work of the Virgin Mary or something more sinister?
Well, by that vision that we were seeing, it didn't look particularly loving or Holy Mary like.
It's the trailer actually itself looks really good, but the one issue I have here again, and this is a very religious thing, right? They seem to put like this whole massive emphasis on like women being virgins.
Did it? Oh, her in particular.
Yeah, her. Well, I mean, as in the you know, like the Mary, the Virgin Mary, and then obviously all like then all nuns and stuff like remaining virgins, and you're kind of thinking it's a whole natural.
Nuns don't have to be virgins.
Well, I mean, if you want to be like pure and stuff, right? I guess you can go into it like once you, but once you go into it, you're then asked to abstain, right? Yeah. So it's almost like, but you kind of think it's the reason you're here. Like somebody had sex for you to be born.
Yes, but nuns are married to God. That's their whole thing. Is that their husband is,
Yeah.
As someone who isn't Christian,
Yeah.
I said neither of us, really, for anyone listening, neither of us really live by, whatever we were raised as. But as someone who isn't Christian, how do you view these sort of Christian-based horror films? You don't really watch horror anyway, but do you look at this and feel like, yeah, it's a bit silly?
Do I look at it and think it was a bit silly?
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, no, they're using like real world. I was about to say hokum, but I better not use that word. They're using real world mythology, right?
Iconography.
Yeah, to build like to build an actual film over there. That those sort of things are very interesting. In fact, this one interests me more than your average one because it is using sort of like things that you can associate, right? Things that you know about, and putting a twist on it.
We need more horror films based around other religions. There was one Jewish one that I forget the name of, but that was pretty cool. But yeah,
I guess everyone knows the story of like of the Bible, right? If you start like, no one's going to do one based on a Muslim one, right? Because you'll just get shot in the street.
But that's just jinns, though. Basically, innit? Ain't jinns like the main thing to be scared of?
I abstain from taking part in this conversation.
Okay. Stay away from that. But yeah, this looks cool to me.
Yeah.
April 2nd.
Oh, actually, there is a horror film that came out of Iran or Iraq. It was on. I remember watching it a couple of years ago. I think
this
Girl
the vampire
Walks
one.
Home. Girl Walks Home Alone or something.
But that wasn't really about the religion or the mythology of
Yeah, but it was like, I guess it was like the Middle Eastern take on vampires.
Which I still haven't seen that. Everyone really likes that, so I might have to visit there at some point. But yeah, I'm into this. Thumbs up. Give it to me.
Yes, right. Let's hit the news. It's that time of year again. It's Oscar season.
You got nominations?
And nominations are out.
Can you give us the big ones?
Right, Best Actress in a Supporting Role. Maria Bakalova from Borat.
Oh,
definitely deserves it. That's definitely. Glenn Close for
dude, if you ever look at any of the trailers for anything else she's done, to think that this chick was in this in all this other garbage stuff in her own country that looks like it's filmed on the phone, for her to just suddenly be Oscar nominated is insane.
And not just be Oscar nominated. Like, her role was really good in that film.
Yeah, she was great.
Glenn Close for Hillbilly Elgly, or whatever that is. Olivia Colman for The Father. Amanda Seyfried for Mank, and Hyun Jong-young for Minari. Minari is actually getting a lot of buzz. I need to watch that.
Right. Okay.
Have you heard of it, Minari?
I have not.
So, do you know the you remember watching The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Remember, like the Chinese guy? I say Chinese, it's probably Vietnamese or something. Korean guy, right? Yeah. So he's the main star of that. Him and his family, like, I think it might be set in the 80s. They basically moved to like rural America and start a farm.
Ooh.
And people are absolutely loving this film. Like, it is generating buzz. It's got a high IMDb rating. I really need to watch it.
No.
Then next one is let's have a look. Best original. No, let's skip that one. Best actor in a supporting role. So Sacha Baron Cohen for Trial of the Chicago 7.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah.
Should not be nominated though. I'm saying Sacha Baron.
Daniel Kaluuya. Oh.
Nope.
No,
terrible accent. Could not hold it.
Oh, come on!
Could not commit to the accent.
I know you have a dislike for Sacha Baron Cohen.
I don't. I like him. I
thought he was great in that film.
All the spade to spade. It was distracting.
Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami. Paul Raci for Sound of Metal. Sound of Metal, I've heard a lot about as well.
Yeah.
As an Amazon movie. It's bizarre because it's streaming on Amazon in the US, but not here. Which is a bit shit. Good. And Lakeitha Stanfield for Judas and the Black Messiah. So 2 people from one film.
Top honors.
Best international feature films. This will be the foreign film. I'll skip this because I don't know any of those. And let's have a look. We want Best Actress and Best Actor. Right, so Best Actor in a Leading Role. Riz Ahmed for Sound of Metal.
Mm-hmm.
Chadwick Boseman for Maya Rainey's Black Bottom. Anthony Hopkins for The Father. Gary Oldman for Mank. And Stephen Yeun for Minari.
Stephen Yeun.
Sorry, Stephen Yeun. Yeah, sorry. It'll be interesting. if like imagine like the guy goes from like The Walking Dead to like winning an Oscar for Best Actor.
Yeah.
That would just be incredible.
And I've noticed they've really tried hard to get a bit of diversity in there.
Oh yeah,
But
this whole thing is like if you look at the whole list, it's all like the most diverse one you've ever seen.
diversity awards. But from what I'm hearing of these films and from what you said about the Minari, they seem deserving nominations.
Oh yeah. It's not like they've just rolled these films out from like behind the curtain or something.
Is it a shoo-in though that what's his face is going to get it though? Didn't he win the Golden Globe? Black Panther dude.
Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, I guess there is that whole post-mortem type thing. Yeah, that's going to be a real tough one. That is. I've not actually seen Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I've not even heard of the bloody film. Yeah,
that's a jazz one. But
then Best Actress in a Leading Role, right? So you got Viola Davis for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I might have to check this out now. Andrea Day for the United States versus Billie Holiday. Not heard of that one. Vanessa Kirby, Pieces of a Woman. Not heard of that one. Frances McDormand for Nomadland. And from what I understand, Nomadland is actually coming to Disney Plus.
Oh, I was going to watch it this week, actually, so should I wait? Yeah, I'll watch it
anyway. Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman. There's like some heavyweights in there. So I really enjoyed her performance, but
she was great in that. She was really good.
She was very, very good in that. Do you want Best Director or should we go straight to Best Picture?
Best Picture.
Best Picture. And this kind of shows you, because we cover certain types of films on this show, there are some here that we haven't even heard of, right? So,
well, not always, but 2020 was a unique year that we kind of just slept through a lot of stuff. We won't make that mistake again. So,
Best Picture, you got The Father. Never heard of that. Judas and the Black Messiah. I've watched that one. I do recommend you watch that. Mank, so that's a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
Minari, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, Trial of the Chicago 7.
We've seen quite a couple of those.
Yeah, we have, but there are.
So hard on yourself, Mo. Come on, we're highbrow.
Well, neither of us. Have you watched Mank yet?
No. I really wanted to watch it on my projector on the wall because I tested it out and it looked amazing.
Yeah.
But just setting everything up, I'm a bit lazy.
I mean, all that lockdown time, it must be so difficult to schedule a film.
I'm going to be so pissed once we're out of it and I'm going to be thinking, I could have done all this shit. I should be fluent in like 5 languages by now and playing piano. What the fuck?
It's a very eclectic mix of movies that I cannot even imagine what one's going to win. I couldn't even bear. Maybe Judas and the Black Messiah, because it's very political for what's going on right now. It is a good film.
Yeah.
But then obviously, without having seen all of these, it's really difficult to say. Yeah, right. So, next on the list, what do we have here?
Jordan to direct. Yeah, we knew this. This was like a couple of...
I don't think we actually ever talked about it, though. I think it literally got confirmed last week, though.
Okay. Yeah, well, I swear we cussed it. Or I did, at least.
You do about 3 other podcasts, don't you?
Yeah, possibly. But none of them are about, well, anyway. Michael B. Jordan to direct Creed 3, which I was worried because this is sure, he's been an actor in some damn good films, so he's gotten to sit at the feet of greatness to a degree.
Yep.
But does that necessarily automatically mean that you're going to have the ability to star in and direct your first film? Especially one that's, that you need all your energy into acting.
You'll be surprised because some actors they take a real keen interest on set, like when they're actually an actor on learning the craft, shadowing other folks. And you see a lot of folks who are I'm talking about TV level stuff here, who were on a 7-season show, learned their craft, and then went on to direct films and stuff.
Yeah, but to be also the lead in that film, you're splitting your energy and your attention in 2 ways.
It does, but people do it. You do have people who are in a film and direct. I don't know how they do it because I don't know how they decide whether they need to do another take or whether they've got enough. Especially in a pre-digital world, I have no idea how they did that.
Waste.
At least in a digital world, you can do it and you can go and watch it immediately.
You kind of, when you think back at it, you kind of have a lot more respect for Sylvester Stallone and what he achieved in Rocky.
Yeah.
Even though it was just something he wrote, he didn't direct it, but still to act and it's just to no experience. Crazy.
Yeah.
So,
right. So first look from the Lady Gaga and Adam Driver in Ridley Scott's House of Gucci. Now, normally I wouldn't have included something like this, but because it's a Ridley Scott film, there's going to be something special to it at the very least, right? It'll be something that it'll get like advertised quite heavily. It is going to be a cinema release this year. And it's based on a book called The House of Gucci, a sensational story of murder, madness, and glamour and creed. And that just makes me sound like this is going to be an awesome story to tell.
Gucci. I'm just going through my head. Am I mixing it up with someone else?
You know, Gucci, the designer.
Yeah, but was Gucci the dude, or was it who was the main designer out of the two of them?
So let's have a look here. No, it was Gucci was a guy though, wasn't he? Because I think I always got, I always got surprised about that. I always thought Gucci must be like a woman or something.
See, it was the woman that was with the Nazis back in the. He was a massive fashion designer that's still a massive name now. I'm trying to think, because she looks a bit like that actress.
So it basically takes place in 1995 during the murder of Maurizio Gucci, who's played by Driver, the grandson of founder Gaucho Gucci, who ran the famed fashion house in the 1980s. Gaga starring as Maurizio's ex-wife, who's caught up in his murder.
I never know there was the Gucci. Someone in the Gucci family got murdered.
Yeah, there we go. So that's and having watched like that other film that he did like a couple of years ago, also All the Money in the World. I think this could be like a good little caper.
Yeah, I like him as a good actor, and Lady Gaga really seems to be killing it. Because what was the one that she had with that was Oscar nominated?
Oh, was it Star Is Born or something?
Star Is Born. Yeah, really impressed. So, all right.
Yeah, and it's Ridley Scott, so could be very, very good.
Coco Chanel was who I was thinking of.
Oh, right, Coco Chanel. Isn't that a perfume?
Yeah, but the designer was the Nazi.
Hold on. Are you telling me the designer of Chanel is a Nazi?
Yeah, she was part of the Nazi party. Or ties to the Nazi party.
Hold on. So does that now mean? Hold on. So, but we still sell Chanel.
Yeah, we still sell friggin' Volkswagen Bugs as well, and those were and sell Fanta and all of these.
Oh yeah, Fanta's a bit of a different thing though. Fanta's a very different thing.
Hugo Boss produced the friggin'.
But I'll tell you what, Hugo Boss, they do make good suits. They make very good suits.
Great for dictators. Yeah, crazy.
If it's good enough for the SSA, or was it? No, the SSA. It's good enough for me, right? Right. The inevitable has happened, Eddie.
What's that?
The inevitable. So I say inevitable. Actually, was it inevitable? Actually, no. No. What's the word? The impossible has happened, I think. So Endgame became like the highest grossing movie of all time.
This is such a cheat. This is such a cheat. Cameron, you're a cheater. It's just disgraceful. You should be ashamed of yourself.
He's probably got nothing to do with this.
He has to sign off on it, though. You know he has that sort of level
Disney, listen, Disney own this property now. If they want to put it in the cinemas, they will put it in the cinema. Now, I don't know what part of the world it's gone into where it's actually managed to make money.
China.
But it has now reclaimed the box office crown. And they're probably doing this because they've got like 4 other Avatar films.
Yeah. No, it's China. They released it in China because they haven't got nothing to watch. And they let everybody out. So, but the thing is, this film's been released like, what, 3 times? 3 or 4 times it's gotten re-releases.
So you probably find Endgame will probably come out like a few times.
Yeah, it's only had 1 run. It managed to do what it did in a single run. Admittedly, that run nearly was almost a year long, but still, it was 1 run.
Can you imagine whichever film becomes like the gross, over the years, whichever one comes out, makes more money and whatever, Disney will be like, both of them are
right. And they don't care because they own both of them. They're getting all the money. Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah, cool.
I'd like to hear a review though from China to really see what they think of these sort of films.
I guess at this point, people just want to go out and see a film, regardless of what it is. If you haven't got any choices.
Do you feel any way about it? Do you feel it's deserving?
To be honest, the highest grossing movie of all time is a bit of a.
Then again, I don't know whether I spoke about it on the podcast, but I think about a month ago I did rewatch Avatar. And I
I
had
have
fun
not
with
seen it since the cinema.
And I had fun with it. I think enough time had passed,
Yeah.
and my expectations were so low that I actually watched it and thought, this is kind of enjoyable. I kind of like this. Yeah.
Really?
I don't feel as bad. Yeah, I know that the dude can't act, the main guy, whatever the fuck his name was.
Was it Sam Worthington?
That's it. The guy who everyone finally realized was a shit actor and just disappeared. But once your expectations are down in the gutter, it's like,
Did the effects look dated?
Some of them. It does have a very sterile look. You know, like when you go back to watch like the original trilogy, or not the prequels of Star Wars, it has that flat digital look.
Right.
Avatar has that as well.
Is it on?
It's on Disney, yeah.
Yeah.
But the effects are still very good, like of the Na'vi, like the facial capture. All of that stuff is still impressive.
Rightio. So, what does any good director now need on their resume, Eddie? What type of film?
Horror film?
Not a horror film, no.
Rom-com.
Not a rom-com.
Action movie. It's got to be an action movie. A Marvel movie.
Well, a good action movie on your resume will probably get you into places, but no, the new trend now is you've got to have a biopic.
Oh.
Yeah, and Kenneth Branagh is doing the Bee Gees.
I was hearing about this. Yeah. There's only one BG left. You realize that?
Staying alive. Really?
Yeah, only one left. One of the twins as well, so he must have that extra painful.
They all died of natural causes, or just like through their rock and roll lifestyle?
I believe just like cancer and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. Right. I know nothing about them apart from like the fact that they've got like two pretty catchy tunes.
Yeah, Saturday Night Fever, Staying Alive.
Staying Alive, and there's that other one like You Win Again is the only other one that I really know.
I've never been even as much as I do love going back sometimes and getting into 70s music. Bee Gees I've never been able to, because that voice, like how they got away with that, and they just get laughed off the stage whenever they first performed. It's crazy to me.
Disco was a different era.
Yeah, disco, everyone's coked up. LSD, I guess.
Crazy. You know what? I remember trying to watch Saturday Night Fever like about 15 odd years ago, and I couldn't get into it. I actually feel like I want to watch it now. But I reckon I could probably sit down and watch it properly now.
I remember being a way darker film than I remember it.
Yeah.
Shall we do it then? We got
watch Saturday Night
week
Fever.
after next. We got to do Justice League this week, but we could do both. Yeah, we could do both.
Oh, I don't know, man. It's gonna take me like 4 days, I think, to like watch Justice League.
All right, week after next.
Yeah.
We'll do Saturday night. Was it Saturday Night Fever?
Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah.
With John Travolta.
All right.
Right.
No, go on.
Well, I was just going to move on because many news. Or do you want to like dwell on this? Because I know nothing about the Bee Gees.
No, yeah, neither.
Yeah. Right. Best news of the week. Obviously, forget the fact that Justice League is coming out. Is Strange New Worlds, the next Star Trek spin-off, has finally gone into production, and 5 new cast members have been unveiled.
Strange New World. What the fuck? What's it supposed to be?
So this is the Pike show.
Oh, okay. I thought the other one, the Nisho Yo one, was gonna be the next.
So that one, there is actually now mummerings about whether that now fits into their plans, because so much time has passed since it was announced. It was supposed to actually start filming last year, but because of the whole pandemic and all that kind of stuff, and they've had the merger and the rebranding, there is some like rumor coming out that it might possibly not happen. Don't know.
That's a bummer, because you need to have, in order for them to keep having all these Star Trek shows that they want to have, to keep them going throughout the year, they need to have different things. They need to be very different from each other, and that one was very different.
I think most fans seem to hate the idea of a Section 31 show. Like literally, like hate it to the core.
The fans? Fans are the worst.
Strange New Worlds will be very different from the other shows, because this is going to be more of a return to an episodic visit a planet type show of the episode of the week type thing.
I guess we haven't really got that at the moment.
Yeah, so these should be more like the old Trek school, like one story a week type thing, move on to the next. But I'd imagine they'll modernize it, and there might be like an overarching story. So like how in the Orville,
Yeah.
We didn't really notice it, but there was actually a story building up in the background.
I missed the Orville. What the fuck? Did they film anything?
They filmed. They did film, and then they had to stop. And I think filming started again. I don't know where that is.
Yeah, that stopping thing isn't an excuse. The amount of shit that got filmed during pandemic, even special effects shit, and still came out.
Yeah.
I missed the Orville, man. It's been too long.
I do as well. I'm really looking forward. And I think, unfortunately, they're only doing like 8 episodes this season as well. Apparently, the show episodes are supposed to be longer, but that doesn't make up for it. 8 is just not enough.
No.
And I hope like all of this delays and stuff means that the show doesn't just get cancelled after season 3.
Yeah. Is that all it's on?
Yeah, we only had 2 seasons.
Jesus. That's so fucking lazy. Dude, quit the freaking American Dad and the Family Guy and all those fucking voices. Just commit to this.
No, that's what brings in the cash load of money for him, doesn't it?
He's got enough.
Yeah.
And I still hear that he's developing other shit. Like, how does he have time? I don't understand.
I know. He really is like, he basically puts everyone else to shame with the amount of stuff that he works on. Like the dude must just work all the time. But then I guess when you're successful and you love what you're doing, it's not work.
When you have time to like have family and get laid and do all this.
Well, he probably gets laid all the time. Look at him. He's handsome and he's rich. He probably walks into a bar, says, "You're coming home with me," and people probably willingly go.
Oh, Jesus.
You gotta hate him, right? He's everything you want to be.
Exactly.
Some superhero news. Kingsley Ben-Adir, who played Malcolm X in One Night in Miami, has been basically revealed as the Marvel Secret Invasion, so the Disney Plus show, as the villain.
With the Skrulls.
Have you seen that One Night in Miami?
Not yet, but I know who you're talking about.
Watch it. He was very good in it.
Okay.
So obviously very little is known about this, and in fact we'll probably know very little until we see the first trailer.
Still bummed that this is just a TV show. This should have been the next phase of the movies, that they could have drip in all of the films, that, you know, the government isn't what they think it is, the people in charge aren't who they think they are, and it was this secret, slow, sort of creeping invasion of the Skrulls, which are shapeshifters that take the place of not only politics but also of heroes as well. Certain heroes who we thought were heroes were.
But we have kind of seen with like WandaVision, it's just because it is a Disney Plus show, it is still movie level.
True, but
like apparently, did you know the budget for that show was like 250 mil?
Jesus Christ, that's a lot. That's insane.
That's like 100 million
episodes.
less than 100 million less than Endgame.
That is insane. But one reason why I wanted it in the films is because they take the place of heroes as well. So I wanted them to be like, for this whole time we thought Rhodey was just Rhodey, you know, Don Cheadle, and it turns out the whole time he was a Skrull, that the original Rhodey died like a decade ago. Like shit like that it just blows my mind. But maybe even bigger heroes.
But you could still get that, right? Because it doesn't mean this won't link into a movie or other movies, or there won't be consequences from this in the other films.
Do you think this is just going to be? They said they were going to do a Nick Fury spin-off.
This is the Nick Fury. This is the Nick Fury spin-off.
Yeah. And it will probably have that Monica Rambeau as well popping up in this, because they said at the end of WandaVision that he wants to see you and it pointed up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's in the end credit sequence.
Yeah.
I do think that's a possibility.
Hope Colby Smulders comes back.
I do indeed as well. She absolutely deserves to get a meteor role.
Let's get into the big one.
Right. So lastly, reviews are in for a little film that's coming out this week. It's called the Justice League, the Snyder Cut. Don't know if you've heard about this one, Eddie.
So I think it's a little indie thing that...
A little indie thing. Very modest budget, 70 million. Yeah. Running a time of 4 hours and 2 minutes.
And I read today that he said that he's got like 12 different cuts. So there's a version that's even longer.
Yeah. So I actually watched. He actually was on a podcast. I can't remember whose podcast it was.
It wasn't ours.
But unfortunately, I asked him. He goes, he was just too busy, and he goes, he wasn't happy with like the stuff that you've been saying about him on your other podcast.
We probably should have reached out. We probably could have got him. The amount of interviews he's been doing the last 2 weeks.
You know what? Kevin Smith said about Zack Snyder. He goes that Snyder he goes like, if you imagine the type of films he makes, right? They're the beautiful artistic films. You would expect this guy to be a complete asshole because you would expect him to be like tough for like how Jobs was tough on people to get his.
No,
Apparently, he is the nicest guy in Hollywood. Like, he's just so nice.
He does come across that way whenever I've seen him talking.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he's not delusional, because he is.
Yeah. But like, he's just really nice, really calm, never gets mad, never shouts and screams. Which is just so hard to think. Like, how do you get that on screen?
It's crazy
like that. Yeah.
And it's crazy to think that that's how we thought Joss Whedon was. And he ain't at all.
Yeah, and I've been seeing interviews with his missus as well, and she's like proper. That's how you have a great marriage, when you've got two people together when you're so passionate about the same things.
True, but does she just enable him though? His bad habits. He needs to be able to tell him, no, Zach, this sucks. That the character's a paper thin. What the hell are you doing? Instead of just being like, oh baby, that's great, so amazing.
I don't know, because like you've seen, I've completely changed my tune over the last couple of months after having watched Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman again. I now think they're both really two good films.
Did you ever see his short film?
His what film?
His short film he made.
Which short film?
I think it was in between one of the, maybe Man of Steel, or just before, or just after. But he made this short film on an iPhone, no special lenses, it's a normal iPhone with a steady gimbal thing, called Snow Steam Iron. And it looks fucking amazing. It looks fucking amazing. I'm going to send it to you.
Right, okay.
The fact that he's just shot on an iPhone and he just kind of did the little grading on After Effects. But
there were a whole bunch of films at one point that were filmed on iPhones, weren't there?
Holy shit. To get an iPhone, to show the fact that he could have Zack Snyder's style off of an iPhone is insane.
Yeah, but is it off an iPhone, or is it an iPhone with a big fuck off lens?
No, I'm saying there was no. You see behind the scenes, there's no lens on it. It's just as is iPhone. It's not even the newest iPhone. It was probably like 2 generations back.
Just goes to show you and Simon are being lazy. If you want to be filmmakers, you've got all the equipment. You've got everything you need.
Well, I need to get my iPhone soon. Anyway, so reviews have been good. People like it.
It's largely been very, very positive. It's sitting on a 75 as of this. Oh no, it's gone up to 76 on 110 reviews.
Well, for a movie that people have partly already seen, that factors into it. If it was brand new, then maybe those reviews would be a little different.
I don't think 76 is a bad thing at all, because if you kind of think of the lukewarm reception that first film got.
Well, some reviews were good. I remember like IGN gave it 7 stars or some shit.
Any movie you will find somewhere that there are good reviews for it, right? That's just part of the core. But the things that people are kind of saying that how much it improves on it, how a lot of the crap that was in the original film have now gone. There was actually a tweet that I sent you the other day, Eddie, which was very much like the things that we were discussing from our insider, who literally says, like, beware, it is essentially the same film. And I think a few other places have actually said that. Yeah, but they go, it's just executed better.
Yeah, it's just what we've seen, mostly, just with more room to breathe. And actual backstory on The Flash and Cyborg. People really praising Ray Fisher, saying that he was really screwed over in the Whedon cut, because he gives a really good performance.
Well, I'm hoping that this will actually lend credence to some of his claims, because having just watched it again, you are absolutely right. He was like either hardly in it. You can tell the plans for him were grander. And in this film, if he has a much more expanded role and you suddenly feel sympathy for him, you just kind of wonder, what the hell did Whedon do? Yeah,
I think someone described it more as like a Frankenstein sort of, what am I sort of situation, where he's really just horrified and trying to deal with, what's happened to him a lot more.
Breakdown of this discussion of the breakdown of this film is going to be fascinating.
No, finally.
I
have to wait till Friday.
To be fair to Whedon, and not that he deserves it, apparently he did have a mandate from Warner Brothers that said this film cannot be longer than 2 hours.
When I was telling you about Zack Snyder saying that he had 12 cuts of this, he said he had like at least 3 cuts that were within the 2.5 hours mark. Yeah. So they could have still done it with what he'd shot, but they just chose to see.
Yeah, but it would be the same thing again. It would be what happened with Batman versus Superman. But the the cinema version was inferior to the extended cut.
Yeah, but we end up with something that's even more inferior to whatever he would have done.
Yeah. I watched the newest trailer last night or the night before, whenever it came out.
Yeah.
I'm really concerned with this whole 4:3. I'm telling you now, if it's 4:3, if you're watching on a 40-inch or smaller, the screen looks tiny. Like on my 55-inch, 4:3 actually looks okay because it's a nice big like image. But I can imagine, like, if that's what drops, people are going to be like, "What the fuck is this?" People are going to spend more time moaning about that than the film.
Dude, you realize the black suit? There was never a physical black suit.
Oh, really? Oh, it was just color graded.
Yeah, he said it's a normal. Zack Snyder said it's just a normal red and blue suit that they just recolored it and make it look black and white.
What does the black suit do?
This is regeneration when he comes back. It's just a suit that he gets when he comes back.
He just had lying around that he'll just put on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's happening. But like next time we record, we will have seen
finally
the Snyder cut after all of these years. I'm actually really excited for this.
I don't want to get excited for it because it probably still has some of the problems that it had.
Well, I think that the reason I'm excited for this is I'm realizing I get excited about the littlest things at the moment. There are things just to look forward to.
That is true. It's nice to have something. The world we're in.
And this is like the biggest little thing that's happened for a while.
I know.
Like the last big thing we had was like, what's it, Wonder Woman?
God, and look how that turned out. Jesus. But you know, when people say things like it's the most epic superhero film ever, it's like, really? Because things did get pretty crazy with the whole Infinity War Endgame. So they're saying this shits on all of that. Okay.
I don't know if I've read anything like that so far. I think most reviews that I've read so far have been quite realistic, shall I say?
Yeah, well, I did. But I don't know how, because you don't really have the emotional attachment that you have with the Marvel side of things. But, you know, who knows? Maybe it's just so massive to scale.
I don't know, mate. We've literally just watched these two films, and they form a perfect part 1 and a part 2, right? So I'm gagging now for that part 3.
Yeah. But he did, even though
we've watched a 2-hour trailer for this film.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, and he has categorically come out and say, yeah, they're not doing anything. They're going in a whole different direction. No more.
Tish Batosh. You watch this time next week.
I think he's burnt out on it, man, to be honest.
I guess he would need total control of the whole thing, right? Of not just the films that he's doing, but the entire thing. And I don't know whether he wants to invest the time in that.
That's it. And would whatever he does change whatever they're already planning on? Aquaman shoots next year, the next one. And Wonder Woman at some point.
You've obviously also got like all the stuff around the Flash movie, so that looks like it's definitely happening.
Yeah, that will affect things quite a bit. Yeah, that will affect things a lot. So. And
when this is all over, he's got like his next film that is going to start promoting next month, right? Because
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead comes out in May.
Yeah. And he's got one after that as well that he's saying he wants to shoot. So yeah, he's got his hands full. So enjoy it while it lasts, and this will just be the full stop on this universe, basically, until Flash reboots everything.
And then DC is still dead in the water.
Yeah. Okay, so is that it?
That is it. Well, I'm guessing because you didn't watch Iron Man, you don't want to do it.
Oh shit! Yeah, of course. Yeah, we'll do it.
To do Iron Man 3, the MCU rewatch.
Yep. Does it hold up for you, Mo? Because I've always enjoyed number 3. Because I think it wasn't that long ago I actually did see it again. So yeah.
This is a film that I don't really remember watching previously. I have watched it. I just had very, very little recollection of it. The key things that stayed in my mind. So it was interesting watching this because the very first thing that comes to mind as I'm watching it, I'm like, I know what a PG-rated Shane Black movie would be like. Because this really does have his stamp all over the film.
It's the dialogue, the way he interacts with that kid.
Yep.
It all just has that.
It does. The Christmas setting.
Yes. Always.
Yeah, the MCU movie has a Christmas movie now. Is Iron Man 3 a Christmas film now?
Yes, the discussion for the
age. It does have like his dialogue. It has like there are some trademark stuff that happens in the editing and the directing that just make it feel like you're watching a Shane Black movie. The end credits are spectacularly good. I don't know if you sat around to if you remember those.
Song.
The end theme song is just great. The actual film itself is not bad at all. I was fearing the worst, but actually,
It's
it's
the
enjoyable.
PG superhero version of Cherry, in terms of he's dealing with the PTSD of what's happened to him before.
There is that. I think they could have cut down in the middle. There's just too much with him and the kid. It does slow the pace down a little bit.
I think Shane had too much fun with that. I think that time should have been spent developing Guy Pearce's character, maybe Rebecca Hall's character as well, a bit more. Her especially, because she really felt pointless.
Very, very underutilized. I don't know why, but I get very excited when Guy Pearce is in the movie.
Yes.
I think it might be to do with I used to watch him in Neighbours, that kind of connection.
Yeah, I still remember them days. Kylie Minogue, the brother.
Yeah.
But my issue is that he plays that typical bad guy, the same one that we saw in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think, with Jamie Foxx, where he's just the nerd who gets ignored. And then decides, I'll show you. A couple of years later, he's all like a hunk with abs. And he's hell-bent on punishing and showing them.
And that's what's the worst part of this, because he's got a very interesting product that actually, if he does the work, he could make untold money.
Extremis, is that what it's called?
I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, where it basically turns the soldiers into nuclear...
Into bombs.
It's crazy.
I mean, there's not a lot to say. It's like this was the last full Iron Man movie. And actually, as the end credits were happening, you get the little pop-up that actually says Iron Man 3. And I'm thinking, are these the only films that are numbered in the MCU?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Well, Volume 2 with the guidance, so I guess kind of. Well, how did you feel it dealt with his whole PTSD of what happened to him with going into space and nearly dying and all of that stuff?
It's a thing that needs to be addressed, right? Because essentially, that is probably like the most horrific thing that you could probably ever have to deal with.
Is it really that horrific? No, he just flew a bomb up into a portal and then just fell back down.
Well, it wasn't just that. Wasn't it just like the never-ending hordes of like enemies?
Yeah, I could have done that. But they didn't really convey that side of it, to be honest. Maybe
I just thought it was just the whole thing. I mean, he did come near to death, right? He could have died there. Like that. I mean, he did go into another part of the universe and guide a missile against like a invading armada, and then drop down to Earth.
Yeah, but you think, especially after watching Cherry, you really kind of how they depicted what he went through. There, you can believe it. I don't think really.
This is a comic book movie. Cherry was supposed to be a very true to life type of film.
It just didn't feel like enough that he'd gone through to really have these problems.
The one thing where this movie does get ridiculous is, and if you go back to like the Avengers, one suit. And he fought off all of those aliens, right? In this movie, it's like the suits just kept breaking, kept getting destroyed, one after the other.
Yeah. Got through all of them. And then, there was that whole thing of he destroys all of the suits at the end.
Yeah.
And I don't know why Marvel or Feige let that happen, especially considering that they just jumped right into another Avengers film and he has new suits. Like, what was the point?
I think the point to that was... And in this movie, they don't address it at all, right? But like when you've got Winter Soldier, that happens, right? Mm-hmm. And the events of Winter Soldier, you're kind of like, where's Tony Stark? Why are they not on the blower at Tony? Say, Tony, we need you. Shit's going down. Because Tony's got no suits.
Who's going to do that, though? Captain America's not going to want Tony to get involved. This is his friend that he's dealing with.
Yeah, but like not the Winter Soldier part. You know, like when the whole shield gets taken over.
Oh, that.
Yeah,
they got their hands full. They ain't got time to call him. I guess.
Yeah. So but Stark's got no suit, so I think they even mentioned it in the film, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but that's just more work for himself. That he has to build a whole lot of new ones. You had a ton of them. Why did you blow them up if you're gonna end up building new ones?
He loves spending his time down there.
Yeah, spend it with Gwyneth.
Building.
Pepper, man.
Pepper. But even that part of the plot was a little bit silly as well, right? Because for the whole movie, he's trying to fix this, not the whole film, but the center of the movie, he's trying to fix this broken suit, where all of a sudden he's actually got fucking 20 of them still sitting there waiting. It's like, why would you just not call one of those?
There's that.
So a few plot holes.
Did you forget? Actually, there's no way you would have forgotten. I was going to say, did you ever think Pepper was dead when she fell into the fire?
No. I didn't remember it, but I thought, oh, hold on a minute. Does that mean any moment now, like you're going to see like a suit emerge from it, and it's going to be carrying Pepper?
Yeah, she looked good though with the extremist power. They kind of suited her pretty well.
Yeah, and unfortunately they do it so it's gone, right? It's never mentioned again.
Yeah, it comes and then it's gone. Even Guy Pearce, but Guy Pearce needed a bit more.
Very token comic book bad guy type thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and I still enjoy it regardless.
Yeah, I think the funniest scene in this film is when Pepper comes home and he's sitting there in the Iron Man suit on the sofa, but it's being remote control, but you don't know that, and you kind of think, oh, that would be like a kinky role play, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't last long, kinky. Oh.
Iron Man.
So you're definitely a lot more. You view it.
Yeah, I certainly now. I was gonna say, I certainly don't think Iron Man 2 and 3 are that bad now, as I used to think. It's amazing what many years removed from the film's release, when you watch them again, how you can change your mind.
Yeah, because you see more other crap, things like Aquaman or whatever. I don't want to shit on DC. I don't want to be doing that, but like
was Aquaman crap? I thought you and I were both quite enthusiastic about it
at the time. But no, it was fine. Actually, no. Let's just say it one minute. I don't know. Maybe we don't want to shit on DC. Let's say something that everybody will see, even DC fans will see. Suicide Squad. When you watch shit like that, then suddenly things like Iron Man 3 ain't that bad.
Yeah, but could you foresee a world 5 years from now you watch the Suicide Squad and you're like,
no,
actually that wasn't that bad?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's so bad that it makes this look good.
What do you reckon? If Justice League is a success, are we going to see the original Suicide Squad cut?
Oh, I don't think so. Mainly because if there wasn't a new Justice League film about to come out, then I'd say yes. But because there's one coming out, I don't think Warner Bros. Or HBO are going to want to confuse casuals by making another version that's going to come out almost.
Yeah, but imagine like 6 months before the film comes out, like we've got a new cut for you on like HBO Max. Sign up here to go and see the new one in the cinema.
We that follow this stuff, we know that it's a different version of an old film and that there's a new one coming. But for casual, regular people, they're going to think, oh, is this the new?
Oh no,
they're the new film.
The hell out of it.
They're not going to. No one pays attention to that. They don't. They're just watching NFL and shit. So they're going to see this, see that it's a different version of the original film.
On NFL, right?
And then when the proper new one comes, Suicide Squad 2, they're going to think, oh, I saw that a month ago. Nah, I'm not going to watch it.
I don't know, Eddie. I think you're like...
People are stupid. You're overestimating the average TV watcher. No, they're not.
Yeah. Right. So what's the next film in the MCU? Is it Thor? Or is it Captain America? Give me 1 second. I can actually tell you that.
Top of my head, is it Dark World, I believe, maybe?
I think it might be, mightn't it? Hold on.
Yeah,
Let me just bring up my timeline here. The MCU. So let's have a look.
Thor, the Dark World.
It is Thor, the Dark World.
It'd be interesting to see whether you feel this one's a bit better than you remember it being. Because I
remember watching this one at the cinema, and I actually don't remember it being a bad film. I know, like when I read other people's comments now, this is like one of those that actually really gets ripped on.
Yeah, I didn't mind it when I first saw it in the cinema either. The issue is, well, we'll get to it when we review it. Yeah.
Let's go.
But we're actually going to still do it next week with Justice League, or
should we take a week's break? Or
actually, if just in case there's a slow news week, you might need to fill in the space. So why not? Why not? Next week for the Dark World.
You might need a palate cleanser.
Yeah, as well as Justice League Snyder Cut. Finally, we will get to see it with our own eyes. Yes. So, Mo, back in the get contact with us.
Right, folks, if you want to email us, we are at tatmpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to tweet us, we are Talking Movies 3. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, we are Talking at the Movies.
Indeed. Don't forget, check out Voltron Network on YouTube to watch the video version of this. Or if you already are watching this, video version, then give us a thumbs up, give us a subscribe, a like, send it to your friends, post it, Reddit, whatever you want to do. Show us some love, help us spread this. So from me, Reese.
And me, Mo.
See you guys next week.